Alright, so welcome back to Terra Invicta. I'll go over the new house rules for our Runners the Initiative for this episode in a minute. Future Perum would just like to note here, I think that's in fact a lie and I get very distracted with the game, so if you want to check the new rules out of this episode, description or the pinned comment. But first, a quick bitch about the AI's tech choices. We are going to be finishing Mission to Mars on the 27th of October 2023. That's a very quick mission to Mars. I just finished Advanced Electromagnetism, because we need mass drivers and then space mining and refining to make any of these missions worth anything. And I missed out on taking the technology slot only to have them go deep space propulsion concepts. Guys, what is the point of us going to space if we're not going to make any money or produce any resources there? So I'm now really pushing hard on deep space propulsion concepts to try and win this tech slot quickly, 12 November, to try and then get us back on track for mining. But by the time our probes, our high-speed probes, our high-thrust probes are arriving on Mars, I really hope we have mining tech, because this is kind of embarrassing at the moment. But you know what? We're doing what we're doing. We're investigating some alien sites. I'll cycle a little bit, and then I'll introduce you to the world and the new rules that we now have to play by.
Think of what will happen once
And we have another tech
hundreds
here.
of millions of kilometers lie between us. Chancellor Li Qingzhao, Distributed Humanity.
So, Humanity First has finished Mission to Mars, so we will send a probe right this second. But they've gone terrestrial military science. What is up with these guys' priorities? And of course, because I have the greed mode on, I need to have a certain amount of focus on these technologies down here. It's not like I can 100% jump into try and fixing, doing nothing but pushing to mining as fast as possible. So yeah, good tech priority, human AI. Take 192 days for our high-speed probe to make it to Mars. That'll pass before you know it. Like, that'll absolutely sail by. But geez, people. Okay, but on 5th November, we should finish deep space propulsion. We should hold the technology slot. We can go straight to mass drivers, push mass drivers from mass drivers to deep space mining. We'll get there eventually.
Surprised it took this long. Just get the recovery crew in there to salvage the gear ASAP. Worry about the bodies later. The delays are costing us. Chairman Soren van Beek, Internal Memo.
So there's good old Chairman Soren, which gives you an idea of what the initiative's all about. It is very much profitability at all costs. So deep space propulsion concepts, fantastic. Open research. And now we want mass drivers for railguns and space mining and refining, another relatively cheap tech. We finished by 13 December. We're going to be hitting space mining refining Q1, probably Q1 2024. And then we've got to hope mines pop relatively quickly. Because if mining tech was ready now, I would have them on the moon. Instead, I don't. So we're going to be boost reliant going to Mars. Also, no one's done fission. We're not doing solid core fission, which means we're not going to have nuclear freighters. So we'll have an interplanetary chemical rocketry because I focused on it. But apparently no one else wants nuclear freighters. So, cool. Now, you might ask why I have just chosen to capture this counselor from the Academy, despite the fact that I'm trying to have a non-aggression pact with the Academy. The answer is, I found Laguna Foundation. So, this will be a difficult hostile takeover, I imagine, but with them detained, hopefully we have a reasonable chance of doing it. So I'll cycle the turn. I know there's a lot of time before we do the introduction, but if we can get Laguna Foundation, I'll finally be ready to introduce the episode.
Organization.
But before we do that, we have investigate returned abductees. So, with our assistance, local police forces have intercepted and detained several abductees. The alien ability to control the human subjects, for they are clearly behind it, is both impressive and frightening. How are they doing it? Is this some function of their advanced technologies? Whatever the answer, our position appears grim. We need to learn more and quickly. All evidence now suggests the aliens have designs upon human governments. They are clearly spying upon the human power structure, but why? Research alien objectives or operations when that becomes available, which we will of course do. Now, everyone is planning. The Academy is pissed at me. Who is our biggest hostile takeover player? 38%. I will absolutely roll 38%. In fact, I may roll 30% twice with two 160s using both Alexander and Roman, because Laguna Foundation need to make it happen. Okay, This is hilarious, I promise. Last interruption before proper introduction. Roman Rudnev has confronted Mallory Deona. So
Prepping for
our
next mission.
hypertech mogul has been confronted by our corrupt Russian oligarch, kingpin, criminal overlord, and they're arguing over, here we are, get some perspective, snaps Mallory. We're facing an alien invasion. We need money. Who cares where it comes from? That's exactly why our practices need to be above board, says the corrupt oligarch. We need to appeal to humanity's best nature if we're going to unite against this threat. There's no good answer here, really. Mallory, I investigated her earlier, has heaps of loyalty. She's like 24, so I can afford the 6 drop. Roman's loyalty is probably really shit, so we'll give him the boost, and we get 150 money for our trouble. But I just thought you'd find that hilarious. Okay, we have our first mine producing. It's not a huge amount of income, but I'm starting to slowly stock up water, volatiles, and base metals. What this means is, as we've now sent our first base to Mars, you can see the boost cost to build this outpost mining complex is steadily and massively increasing. We're still going to have to pay 10 boost to create the second base to reserve the location, but to actually launch the outpost mining complex, we've already reduced the cost from 124 boost down to 88. And hopefully nuclear freighters pops, which I believe is not quite available yet, but I think do we need solid core fission? I forget. Basically, I am chasing nuclear freighters. As soon as we get nuclear freighters, it will reduce further. So having this first lunar base to bootstrap off, very, very important. I'm very, very happy with it. We have got, and I'm going to start reducing the time skips at this point because we're starting to move out of the very, very early game into the things where you spread out. I find most openings in Terra Invicta, like, there's some cool stuff that happens, but the juicy stuff is 2024, like, you see less of it covered, so it's where I want to put more focus in this playthrough. We've taken our first spot, the corporations, and Mallory has got a 33% chance of going for the next one. So odds are we miss, but we can keep repeating. We've got the influence. While Louis and Alexander keep increasing public opinion. The good thing about having a spot now is that even though I'm on welfare, that's going to have to change soon. So I can start stealing people money. But right now I'm sending them social security checks to lull them into a false sense of security. These Unity tickers will, especially if we get a second spot, not actually give the servants any net benefit relative to us. It'll just squeeze everyone else other than the 2 of us out of the US, which is fine by me for the moment. The US isn't in great shape. The problem is, once I get in there and once I complete the objective, once I complete that spoils money objective, do I bail or do I try and salvage the US? Please put your thoughts in the comments, because my original plan was, hey, let's move into China, let's really invest in Asia. Like, we've got Russia, which is rapidly becoming the Eurasian Union. We've got India, which is always a powerhouse. Why not complete the set, go China into Pan-Asian coalition and just have the mega blobs? Just a thought. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do there, but for the moment I'm chasing it that way. What I have seen though is our government individuals, in particular Louis will benefit from this as our investigator. We can buy the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service, which we will do, because that gives us a whole bunch more control points. Admin, it pays for itself. Excellent, love the work. I don't think it's worth 2 points to get the ISI out of Pakistan. It's very expensive for what it does. So instead, might invest in some science boosting or particularly mining output, even if it's just 1%. I might pick up some of these knowledge boosting too, so that when I'm getting India to hit the books, it works. In fact, that might be worth it, because that's... You're like, why would corporates invest in education? The answer is to make everyone productive corporate drones, which is our objective. We're going to hit once we've got this to the point where we can keep India relatively stable, we're just going to hit the books hard. I don't think it's right to take India, we don't want to make it a super utopia in terms of 15 democracy score or whatever, but absolutely getting the knowledge scaled, very, very good idea. Same with China, ideally if we had the CP. One thing we are very close to doing, Kazakhstan will complete its mission control point probably this phase. I think it can only fit 6. I will check, at which point we can probably absorb it. I've also added the Baltic states to the Eurasian Union and are building out mission control there. If we can smooth it over with humanity first and we eventually get the control point limits done, we could absorb the Baltic states, which would also save us some CP while also being pretty MC efficient. Other places in Central Asia, I'm not controlling any of the points, but I did break in, I set mission controls and objective, and then I bail. So all these these former Soviet Central Asian republics, for example, they all have space programs now. They're all building mission control. So when they're eventually absorbed into the Eurasian Union, they're going to bring that mission control to the table. Similarly, Pakistan is filling itself out with mission control. I disbanded the army rather. Probably going to disband the nukes, but I am defending interest for the moment. Pakistan's very expensive to hold on to relative to like the research output it produces and things like that, and it would require a lot of stabilization to maximize. So the goal is pretty clearly should be to fill it out with mission control as quickly as possible and eventually get the technology that enables India to absorb it. That's probably the play. And of course, Myanmar also requires a space program, but we don't want boost, we want mission control. There is a chance, again, I know on my massive list of things, there are some boost related and boost demanding projects, but I don't have the spare CP to invest in like a boost specific nation yet. But if I do start getting the mega projects that require me to go heavy in boost, good investment points are Singapore, excellent, close to the equator, lots of investment points, relatively cheap to hold for what it is, starts with the space program, well, now has a space program. So going full in boost there. Israel would be another one that might be worth investing in for boost if we need more boost income. So there are options there if we roll them. We missed out on that second US slot, but that is to be expected. It's just going to be a case of persistence, I think, to get in there and grab that mass media spot. And as soon as we grab mass media, we have what we need to complete one of the episode objectives, which is to steal money from America, which I assume is like robbing Fort Knox or something. Kazakhstan can fit more mission control, so we will let them continue to go, especially since, as we just saw, we did not, in fact, manage to close out.
At your service.
Did not, in fact, manage
Where
to close
to?
out USA, so we're not horribly over our CP cap, which in this case is actually a good thing.
At your service.
Roman, I think it's worth defending interests in
Protecting
India.
our interests.
Where do you need me?
Can stabilize India.
We'll restore
I
peace
also
to
think
this
there's some
nation.
alien flora in
Standing by for
Kazakhstan that I
orders.
need to scan for, but we'll throw Mallory back in. The problem is, while I'm doing all this, I'm not doing the Inspire chain, and it's literally months of effort to get all of your councillors up to where you want them to be in terms of loyalty. So hopefully we complete soon, because I'm then going to need the high persuasion councillors over here trying to break into China.
And within
Humanity
you
first grabs heat
burns an
management
eternal
concepts, and of
flame.
course decides
When
militarization
that
of space is
flame
next.
touches
But
another,
guys,
nothing in this
you
world.
don't have the economy to support it yet. But okay, also we flubbed the America roll again. We also unlocked, which also makes me wonder whether there's actually a third expansion path, right? The third expansion path is we can try and get into the United States, throw the servants out, we can try and break into China and start the long repair process of trying to get China optimized. So, lifting educational outcomes further, increasing the democracy value, just to get that sweet, sweet research output. Or we can also grab Restored Warsaw Pact, at which point what we would really need to be doing, and we would need to be doing it probably starting now, is probably go after these protectorate locations. Romania and Finland. I'm not sure I want to start a fight with Exodus in Poland, but you'd probably at least try to move into Romania and Poland and Finland to start with. Build up that mission control in advance so that you can then absorb it with the Eurasian Union. Preferably peaceful absorption, because peaceful absorption would allow you to take some advantage of like the democracy values and things like that. But it is what it is. So like I said, we have options right now. I'll maybe make one more. I need to do that. I need to grab the mass media and complete the mission. And then, like I said, thoughts in the comments. Do we play... Basically, you have three options. We can play the America option, the China option, or the Restored Warsaw Pact, start creeping the Eurasian Union into Europe, grabbing mission control as we go option. All three very much on the table.
Oh.
I just can't get this America spot, but that's okay. What's this? We have found the Insight Lander site. A small research team has taken the time to seek out NASA's Insight Lander, which spent several years studying the Red Planet before going dark December 2022. Data it gathered was instrumental in finding suitable prospective sites for our manned bases. Public opinion bonus. Pay boost for 500 research. Don't think so. Gain 150 money. No, I want the public opinion bonus. East African Federation. We want fission pile, because that is our power source for Mars. Without that, it is a no-go. So what's our boost cost? We can now send an outpost mining complex. That's amazing. I reckon we get that sent. We wait just a little bit longer, then we send it, along with the fission pile. No one else has probes. I should be the only one with high-speed probes. So I've got a little bit of time before everyone else's probes get to Mars. So I think in like a week or two, we send the outpost mining complex ahead of the fission generator. Maybe 1 week. I'm just trying to maximize the economy with the boost here. But yeah, we need to get that mine up and running ASAP. Alright, that's a problem. The resistance probe has reached Mars, which means they can start founding sites. So how much boost to send a miner right now? 1.2. Okay, we're doing both. We're claiming Utopia Planitia. And we're sending the mine to Olympus Mons, and then by the time Fission Pile is finished, we should be in a position to send a fission pile to actually power the mining complex. I think that's what we're going to do. Utopia Planitia, sweet fizzles, claimed. Olympus Mons. That's the one. I'll rename them later. Outpost mining complex. Drop. So now the question is, how much does it cost to build a necessary amount of power? Because these things take... Oh wait, no, these things take 9. Maybe we go solar. We need just a little bit more. Yeah, see, this is ticking really quickly. Oh, fun challenge missions are fun for everyone.
Prepping for next mission.
See, isn't this better than playing on brutal? Just needing to do random things at random points. Okay. That's okay. The space economy scale up is going well. We've now got everything on its way to Livingston Base, which we will rename, but that would be fantastic. To get that going, that's going to revolutionize things. We'll need industrialization of space to really get going. But to be honest, if this ticks down, I might actually get some material launched towards Utopia Planitia, and then I need to get some interface stations up to start getting some research and investment bonuses on Earth, because I've put everything into the space push. But once we're producing more space resources, which is the real reason I don't get started with interface stations too early, then yeah, we'll be in a good position to capitalize on them. Okay, we threw the entire bloody council except for Roman at the problem. But finally we got a slot in the United States. So, that's a good thing. I'm now way over CP cap, which is a problem. I'm going to have to think about how I solve that. An option might be to hold on just a little bit longer and then go with Kazakhstan when they're at 7 mission control rather than 8, slightly suboptimal, but would free up like 15 CP. Bit less because Russia would scale. 290, 265, 290. That's getting closer to manageable. I don't think there's anywhere else that we can really abandon safely. I don't want to abandon the executive in the Baltic because we've consolidated that. And it's only 5.9 anyway. America's just so expensive. It's great as the bedrock of a playthrough. Like, don't mind us. We're just the media and the corporations say let us into Fort Knox. Thanks. Okay, thanks. Bye. Yeah, it's a great center for a strategy, but if you sort of half-ass in the US, yeah, I'm not a fan. Okay, so something has happened that means we're in danger of major mission creep. Because we have the mass media, we have the corporations in the United States of America. Fantastic, that was the goal. I would like to get out and start moving on to those other objectives as discussed, either breaking into China or starting to consolidate the Eurasian Union by making sure points build their maximum amount of mission control and then absorbing them. Researching Rebel and Warsaw Pact, for example, would let us absolutely stuff the former Warsaw Pact states full of mission control. Some of them have already built some anyway, which is encouraging. That most of them have a maximum of 4 and are spending at least some investment on them. So this is good. Even though we're not there, someone else is spending the CP to control something and investing very heavily in the MC anyway. Protectorate, for example, has one in Finland. They're investing 25% in another. I'd really want to go 100% and fill it out as soon as possible, but you take the point. Romania has a mission control point. Anyway, I want to be doing other things. I want to be potentially fixing China. I want to be absorbing Central Asia and Eastern Europe into the Eurasian Union. I want to also be dealing with, I think there's an alien operative dealing, because I've had xenoflora popping up all over Central Asia. So I'm researching alien operations now, which will allow me to actually spot their operative. But there is absolutely a Hydra in Russia planting the bloody xenoflora everywhere, and I'm steadily trying to get rid of it using my agents, but it's an uphill battle. Xenoflora, especially early on, is really annoying. However, the Protectorate has taken over control of Congress. So, in the United States, the financial sector and identity blocks want to worship the aliens. Congress is all aboard the surrender train. They just cannot wait to surrender to the aliens, and the only thing standing between the United States of America and alien domination or surrender to the aliens over the entire world are the corporations and mass media controlled by the self-interested corporate oligarchy. What a world. I think that what we have to, because if we just wait, now that the executive is exposed, if either the servants or the protectorate get the US executive, the world is in serious, serious danger, and as a result, so are our profit margins. The US military can just start steamrolling. In the name of surrender, it can force other people to surrender. Plus, there's this 28 nuclear weapons. So I think, even though it's going to cost us maybe 6-7 months, what we have to do, and I'll switch everyone else over to public relations for one turn to make that more likely. I think Mallory has to take the executive spot. I think we have to consolidate the executive, which takes like 6 months or something. And then I think we have to disband the US military and the US nuclear arsenal. I think we have to defang the United States. If we're going to leave it, if we're going to abandon it, and I'll listen to what people say in the comments, but my plan for the moment is to take the executive, consolidate, and then probably, if we're not going to keep it, defang the US. The other option is to completely clear everyone else out of the US, and instead of China, make this a US-centric playthrough. But the US has a high democracy value. You know, I'm not sure they're the right choice for this playthrough, although it would be funny. So yeah, that's the current plan. In goes Mallory. We're going to take control of the presidency, and then the new presidential policy, once we've got everything under control, is against congressional objections, we're going to defund the military. Alright, we have access to the executive. The very confused US military is now very much divided. The Marines answer to the initiative. 2nd Infantry answers to the Protectorate. 1st Armoured, 1st Infantry answer to the servants. So everyone's very, very confused. So Washington and Los Angeles, so California and DC, plus Virginia and the like, have armies answer, and Atlanta have armies answering to the initiative. Seattle is under protectorate control, and Dallas and Minneapolis, Texas and Central America, Central USA, very much in server control for the moment. So, interesting. We now have to consolidate. 148 days until the executive is consolidated. That's how long we have to decide what we're going to do with the USA, whether we're going to defang it or whether we're going to try and save and adapt it, albeit probably at the cost of moving ahead with the alternative expansion plans, because we are now over CP cap once again. We are getting some assistance from the organizations that we brought on board. I picked up some cool ones. We have, for example, the Jet Propulsion Lab, I believe now. Who's got the JPL? There we are. Louis Martin has the JPL out of the USA. Very, very cool organization, very thematic. But then again, he also has the Foreign Intelligence Service of the Russian Federation and the Research and Analysis Wing of India. So he's pretty busy. Plus, he's got private sector intelligence. He's a busy guy. We're getting close to 25 admin on our most admin-heavy guys. Others, like Mallory, still have a long way to go. So the CP cap will continue to expand. Just, yeah, we're sort of on the clock. We are researching alien movements, and I'm prioritizing it, which will allow us to detect Hydra. And as a result, I've started putting very basic xenology lab structures in space. There are 2 at the moment. I'm probably going to manufacture a 3rd one. Then send out the mine to Mars for our 3rd base. That's down to 58 at the moment, but I think, because the xenology labs provide bonuses to alien detection, so I actually think it's worth filling up interface orbit. I might actually throw a 3rd one up there, because even though these are only basic level 1 stations, each one gives a +1 bonus to alien detection up to a maximum of 9 and a 10% xenology research bonus. So we'll be getting a 6 bonus on detection. I'm considering going to 8, but 6 is a decent start. Let's see if it's enough to find the Hydra and let's just say investigate. And be glad we're not playing the Academy, because they have not come in peace as just triggered, because someone had Deep System Skywatch, so the Academy is going to be suffering crackdowns all over the place. Doesn't look like they're wounded too badly though. Only one Japan, which is like their bedrock. Japan and Korea are the core of Academy territory at the moment. And no one's really going to break in if they only have 1 spot in each. Their executive isn't endangered, that's the key. I don't think the Academy has any other major holdings. The servants are all entrenched throughout the Middle East. I mean, we can have a quick look. Yeah, see, the Resistance actually has more CP cap, significantly more CP cap, and holds more CP than I do. So I'm coming 2nd on CP cap used. The Academy has plenty of spare CP cap because they just got cracked down, so it's no longer counting. Protectorate's at 278, very respectable. Servants are a bit small at 238, but they've got a little bit of capacity, so that worries me. And Humanity First is sitting basically at their cap. Everyone's boost income is much better than it used to be. I think the AI has learnt it needs boost. Because everyone's got mission control, everyone's got boost. No one's over-invested in orbit to run massive negatives early. So there might be hope for them. Like, we might actually see... I think I've picked the 3 best sites on Mars. But we might get to see other factions starting to get out here if they've done... Nuclear freighters will be unlocking for them. They'll need nuclear freighters and they'll need interplanetary chemical rockets to make it affordable. But no one's got industrialization of space. So we're doing it the hard way for the moment. But you know what? That works for me. As for these unnamed bases, how long? We're at 68 boost. What do we need to stockpile? We have the water, we do not have the volatiles, we do not have the metals. So lots to stockpile there, but at least we have 2 mines launched towards Mars and some stations to help us detect the Hydra in orbit. And I think we are about to finish alien movements. Everyone's probes are arriving. Erratic leader behavior in Mozambique. We've determined aliens are now able to infiltrate national institutions. in what will look from the outside like a purge mission by the servants, but may not be prevented by our usual legal and political defences. We believe developing the science attribute among our councillors will help us understand and defend against it. We have very weak councillor science, and it'll take a while to improve. There we are. We've got alien movements, which is where we figure out that we can start using forward-looking infrared to detect biological aerosols, and then we'll get whatever Siren wants to tell us from the initiative's perspective.
We've developed the capability to track the aliens.
Okay, we've set up a new organisation drawing upon the resources of various multinational communications companies and national intelligence agencies, focused upon tracking the movements and activities of the alien agents upon Earth. This will assist us in countering the alien attempts to sway Earth governments, but more importantly, it should provide us opportunities for us to acquire samples of alien technology or samples of the aliens themselves. So now that we have the ability to track alien movements, we should acquire one for study. We see no reason to take additional risk of keeping it alive. Very practical. We should, however, consider our timing of operation carefully. We do not know how the aliens regard us as a competitor, but it is possible our assets will face retaliation from the aliens or their supporters. I haven't been attacking the servants, so I shouldn't have a hate level, so I should be able to get away with shooting a Hydra. Alien flora and alien origin. I want to pick up nuclear freighters. Probably keeping that sort of priority. You can see orbitals and settlements are both researching. These are the T2 stations. Very, very important, but not as important until we get our basic mining infrastructure up. T1 mining infrastructure is useful, plus it lets you claim territory, so I'm not in a rush. Nuclear freighters, however, will get our stuff there faster. April might mean that when we start launching mines 3 or 4 towards Mars, we get the benefit. This will reduce the boost cost, and importantly, it'll also decrease the arrival time, which is the same as producing for that extra time, which is the same as just having more resources. While all this is happening, I'm trying to inspire Roman. Luckily, we've just landed a critical success with Mallory, and I'm dropping Louis on him to investigate what his actual loyalty levels are. Meanwhile, Louis is surveilling Central Asia.
We've got some intel on our
actual
target.
loyalty 13. Not great, not terrible.
Clearing
We can
things
do
up.
better than that. Alexander, I confirmed
Mission in
before.
progress.
Last known was 22, and then we inspired twice, so he should be at 24.
We'll be ready for new orders soon.
Was last known 22, and then we landed 1, so it should be at 20.
Prepping for next mission.
Prepping for next mission.
Louis, Roman, and Powell. Powell's probably in the middle, but I'm most worried about Roman, given he's our shooter. So he probably needs another 10 inspires before I'm feeling comfortable, considering he loses 1 loyalty every time we have a critical failure, because he just can't tolerate failure. Alright, so apparently Alexander didn't get the memo about how we work here. He's very annoyed at Roman for stealing from the initiative, which is happening because Roman is corrupt. He takes money every month. Roman is saying, listen Alexander, maybe you're here out of the goodness of your heart, but I'm here to make money, and besides a lot of the money gets used for our cause. You think everyone I deal with shares our ideals? No, they want to get paid too. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take Roman's loyalty up in exchange for Alexander's going down by more, and we get 50 ops out of it. That's fine. This will save time inspiring Roman, but it does mean that we're going to have to fix up Alexander in the future, but 23 minus 6 is 17. 17 is not terrible, so I'm going to take this option for the moment. I also think we might have a candidate. We've just seen an alien activity mission pop here, while under surveillance in Central Asia, where all the flora has been popping up. It's a relatively hard target, but if we pop Louis on it with 16 ops, we've got a 3/4 chance of successfully investigating it. I think that's a Hydra. We've had the extra xenology stations start to pop in orbit, so we do have a bonus. And I've also brought the army over, as you do, to help deal with the xenoflora problem. But really, we need to get our councillors on all of this now. We need to destroy these xenoflora outbreaks, identify that operative, and then it might be time for Roman to shine. I've got him up to 18 espionage, including all of his organizations. If he keeps adminning up, he's going to have to dump some of his like 1-star orgs for some more powerful ones, because he's filled up his org panel, even though he's 3 admin short of the cap. But 18 espionage, I'm hoping for an early game Hydra should be enough. He'll also have 1 more level this turn, so we might take that to 19. That might be the most efficient way to do it. So, yeah, we're getting close to the rubber hitting the road here. I think we got a hit on a Hydra. Xenoform Alpha 2 ID'd. Look at his pretty face. Okay, Xenoform Alpha 2, that means there's an Alpha 1 out there somewhere, but this is the one who's been bothering us in Central
Things
Asia.
are cooling off.
We'll get more intel on them. Hopefully we knock out this Xenoflora. Let's have a look.
Target secured.
It's likely submarines. Damn it. I want to actually completely
complete.
destroy the outbreaks, but we're clearly not there yet. Let's let the turn cycle and then see what the odds are if we send in Roman. With or without his level up. We don't have a huge amount of intelligence on the thing. 3%, 23%. Direct level into espionage.
Ready for my mission.
Standing by for orders.
30%. Plus no... I think we take a shot.
Ready
I
for
think
orders.
we put Louis on the target again.
We'll see what they're
the
up
investigate mission will resolve
Your
first,
orders?
which will boost the ability,
Reporting in.
the likelihood that Roman succeeds.
I'm here. Where to?
Because my logic is the sooner we
I
get the hate,
have
the
them
sooner
in
we can
my
burn
sight.
it off.
Ready to go.
So I think we play it
Ready
like that.
for orders.
Powell, I think you repeat your assaults. Oh, is there a cooldown before you can attack the others? Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Heading to the
We're burning
LZ.
through the ops, but that's
Standing
okay.
by.
I want to get rid of the Xenoflora before
Standing
it spreads.
by.
Better to nip it in the bud.
Ready.
Actually, it's more
Going
efficient
in
if
hot.
he takes
I'm
it.
here.
Your orders.
We're mostly stable in our
We'll turn
nations.
down the heat.
Acknowledged.
Mallory probably gets started on Powell,
I'll make sure they're on our side.
and we'll go from here. Should be roughly a coin flip. Should be maybe a 60-40. The answer is it is in fact 38 after the investigate, so let's hope for it.
Missed the target.
Damn it. Alright, well, I think we might have to repeat. We didn't lose Roman, but that's extra hate that I didn't want. I believe I failed in assassinate
The
also
LZ is
causes...
secure.
We have wiped out some
Mission
Flora and Fauna
aboard.
boat. Those should be gone. We'll use surveillance again to check. But, ooh, I don't like the extra hate off that. That'll take a while to burn off. That said, we have very little MC usage, so the baseline is pretty low. Another full
Striking
effort.
target.
Ready for my mission.
Louis again, investigate. Burning through the ops, but that's what you save it for. So
Reporting
he should
in.
get a coin flip this time.
Ready.
Looks like all of our nations except for Pakistan are pretty peaceful.
Restoring order. Ready for my mission.
Who can we talk to? Humanity first. Might be worth doing that quickly just to make sure that we're cool with them.
Making contact.
I wish I had everyone doing other stuff, but you know, the whole Hydra thing, kind of important. We'll give Mr. Castillo 1 ops income just to keep him happy.
I believe they'll stay
think that
loyal
means
to the
we're
cause.
Most factions now. We'll repeat that. Most factions should now... There we are. Tolerance, non-aggression pact resistance. Tolerance, non-aggression pact humanity first. Tolerance servants. Tolerance NAP exodus. Tolerance academy. Tolerance non-aggression pact protectorate. Because, you know, we're just neutral little corporate overlords. We didn't do anything hostile in the United States. We just blocked them. How many days until consolidation? 85 days until we have consolidated the executive in the USA. Awesome. Roman. Hit. There we are. With another investigate, we had success chance of 77, so we really pushed it as far as it would go. I've eliminated Xenoform Alpha 2. Few among us would ever believe this day would come. Not only inarguable proof of life from another world, but the successful retrieval of an intact alien body. Da-da.
A satisfying result. Let's see what we can learn from the autopsy.
The operation was delegated to our security division, which accomplished the mission to our satisfaction. We have acquired an alien corpse and transported it to a dedicated research facility. The alien was accompanied by several humans who appear to function as his bodyguards. We have no reason to believe that they had links to the faction identified at the... we have reason to believe that they may have had links to the faction identified as the Servants. So the Servants were providing bodyguards. Their bodies have been disposed of. Very efficient, Soren. We have an intact alien corpse. Our hope is the autopsy will suggest some lines of research. Research hydrobiology when the project becomes available. Will do. Okay, nuclear freighters. Fantastic. So we'll grab hydrobiology because we have a huge bonus to it and it moves us closer towards our mission, but we won't give it a maximum priority. We'll start balancing things out a little bit, I think. What this does mean is that our launch for our outpost mining complex should take less time to arrive, so it was actually worth waiting. Throw a fission pile on it. Generate that. So that's an outpost mining complex, and we can probably claim another site. Oh, we've got the Academy and Resistance have both claimed sites. Bugger. That was the one I wanted. I wanted the 6... They both claimed fissile sites. We might have to mine fissiles on the moon after all. I think the additional nobles and a little bit of fissiles of Terra Sirenum is okay. So let's found an outpost there. Outpost mining complex. Fission pile. And we can probably claim another one. I like the volatiles income over here. There's also some amazing base metal output there. And some good water down the bottom. Oh, there's a lot of good sites. I don't think I'm not really going into business for 0.36 fissiles. But I'm kind of interested in both the base metals and the extra volatiles. Let's see if we can found both. We can't for the moment because we'll need to regenerate the resources, but I might claim both. There it is. Daedalus Planum. Is there anywhere else I want to claim? In the Mars land rush. I mean, I could put a block on the fissiles here. I guess I can always sell it later. 5.1. And we can throw up some more basic stations around Earth. Now that we know there'll be less pressure. So I'm going to put the last xenology labs up, but really we're waiting for T2 stations. T2 stations will make all this so much more efficient, but these are so cheap. We're in the phase of the game where if I can eliminate the Hydra that are on Earth, I'll be in a good place. And then this one, there's Miltech value, there's military investment, there's welfare investment, knowledge investment. We don't have enough boost to lift the knowledge investment to space, but that's okay. We need to remember though, I want the information science labs. Even just for a 6% bonus to knowledge investment, because India is very much hitting the books. Once we get closer to 8 democracy value, I'm not sure whether we're going to allow ourselves to have full democracy, if that's really in keeping with oligarchies, or whether or not we're going to have to kick that, find a way to compensate so that people are studying, but not necessarily moving out of full democracy. Because you can imagine a corporate oligarchy managing to manipulate a democracy of less than value 8. A full democracy 8+, I'm not sure quite how you do it, but you know, it is what it is. Alright, there's some okay, not ideal, but okay timing. Sun's emitted a major solar flare. We don't have the boost or devolve space command, so we're going to suffer a 50% mission control income for 6 months, which means that as the mines start coming online, we might end up going over, but we have time to build during that, so we can
Violence
build a
is
little more
abating.
mission control. For example, Pakistan is up to 4 mission control and it's just chunking along as quickly as possible. Just a little bit of unity investment is keeping us super popular there. We might actually turn that off for a moment, and just keep building MC there. And the Baltics should be full pretty soon as well. Not full, but actually no, the Baltics are full. So when's their cooldown on Russia? 5 June. We're in April. Okay, so in June, we'll smooth that over with Humanity First, but we can kick Humanity First out of the legislature, and we can unify the Eurasian Union with the Baltic states, which will also increase the it'll increase the stats of the Eurasian Union slightly, and also save us some CP cap and bring 3 mission control into the fold. Give us some room. I think that the next objective's really Finland as an MC location. Grab that. And Romania, so maybe not being so friendly with the Protectorate, but you know what? Somehow I think I'll get over that. Okay, we think we have another hit. There is an unknown councillor in this location, plus there is alien activity in the region. So Louis, who is at investigation 16, so again, sort of serviceable. We'll give him 1 ops. No, we'll give him 2 ops.
We'll see what they're up
76%
to.
roll on investigating what I suspect is a Hydra. We'll send
On the way to
Alexander
the
to go
target site.
actually get the
Where do you need
xenology
me?
research for investigating. Roman, our oligarch, needs to
We'll
switch to
make things
stabilizing
safe.
India rather than Pakistan for a moment, but Pakistan's down from like civil war to subversion, which is pretty good. We'll keep India in the peaceful range just to maximize the rate at which those IPs are moving out. And then we're getting closer to the point where the US is consolidated. 12 days. So this is the last turn cycle before we have to make a decision on what we're going to do with the United States. Defang, we'll try and salvage it. And we should try and hunt down another Hydra. There we are, Xenoform Alpha 6 ID'd. Alpha 6! Alright. Significant Hydra presence. Got it.
I will report when my mission is
Roman's up to
complete.
19 espionage, but this time we won't rush straight in. We'll get the extra intel by
We'll be
tailing
ready for
again
your
with
order
Louis.
soon.
And then I'll see what the odds are on detain, actually. And since we know that there are more xenoforms on the planet, and it turns out you cannot, I just remembered, you can't detain until you get later technologies, Roman is going to take the shot. He's at 81% now, so I'm pretty happy with that. And as a gunshot's about to ring out in South America, I'm going to call this episode to a close, given we're pretty much at time. There's a lot to do on the agenda for next episode. We need to disarm the United States. We need to push down the initiative's tech tree. We need to expand into space in a real way. Probably capture a Hydra captive based on our experience with other factions. And of course, integrate the first viewer-suggested house rules from the original poll. Those with a bunch of votes, or which were ultimately selected, will be integrated in episode 3. And then more will be integrated every episode thereafter. I hope you're enjoying the team. I'm looking forward to some zany directives from the board of directors, and I'll see you all again soon.